is cold brew. So, yeah.
Nice and cold.
Thank God. Although it's actually not that bad today, so...
Yeah, no, it's not terrible, but still.
Yeah, still. Even still. Alright. Let's dive right in. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the General Geekery Podcast, the podcast where we geek out about all that we love to geek out about, with no remorse, no regrets, and with all the enthusiasm at our fingertips. I should really add an echo in the background for that in post.
Indeed.
I should really add that, now that I think about it.
Oh, man.
Just
record it once and have it play at the beginning every time. It would definitely save time instead of us doing it every time.
Yeah, true.
But of course, there's always those little like micro alterations of.
True.
Sometimes you say at our fingertips. Sometimes you say at our disposal. Sometimes you say in the world.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's very true. I do that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Should really stick to one theme. As always, this is Donald Kaczynski, your coffee ninja by day, actor, gamer, and streamer by night. And as always, Hannah Kubiak, the Undertaker by day, the gamer, dice slinger, and amazing artist by night. So, got a little bit of a fun thing to talk about today. Mainly because the show was released on Disney Plus, and it's probably, I think, one of the probably the most popular musical that has ever been released for a long time in musical theater. We're talking about Hamilton.
Yes.
Alexander Hamilton. That opening song is on repeat in my head constantly. I can never get that song out of my head.
For some reason, the one that always goes through my head is "It must be nice, it must be nice."
Oh my God, yes. Da 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 da.
Oh yeah, and also that one. Da 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 da.
So good.
Jonathan Groff.
There's so...
I could not stop laughing. I just busted out laughing every time it came on.
So funny thing with that part, I showed... I had listened to the entire soundtrack on Spotify before I ever got to see the show. I never got to see the show until this past month when Disney released a master cut of the original Broadway cast performing it on Disney Plus, and thank God for that. That was a real treat. Thank you, Disney, for that.
Oh yes, I just watched it a couple weeks ago, and it was the first time I had heard any of the songs or anything. So I don't know how I avoided it for so long, having not heard anything.
Well, all right. Let's get into a little background on this before we.
Sure, yeah.
So, Hamilton the musical, the music, the lyrics, everything, done by Lin-Manuel Miranda, was first performed, and I want to say it made its off-Broadway debut in 2015, and in that same year eventually got onto like one of the main Broadway stages. And it garnered a lot of publicity for its music, its actor style, because this is probably like one of the only musicals like ever to have a predominantly black cast. And a lot of the cast members were a lot of really big names in the Broadway scene. A lot of big names, and they all got together to do the show. It's a very rap heavy type show. It's kind of like would I call it a pseudo historical? No. Oh, romanticized retelling. I don't know. It's
I think that's closer to.
Yeah, romanticized retelling. It's like a romanticized historical retelling of the life of one of the founding fathers of the country, Alexander Hamilton.
Mm-hmm.
Hamilton. I can't.
Stop
it, Donald. Stop it.
Hamilton.
I'm gonna be like this the entire episode. I swear. I gotta keep myself in check.
I've got my own. I got my own as well that I'll be doing. So we'll see how many times it happens.
And so, ever since this show hit Broadway, it's just been getting this giant following. Like, so many eyes have been on this show. I think more eyes have been on this show on Broadway than most any new stuff that has come to Broadway probably within this century.
Yep.
Like, more so than Book of Mormon, more so than
Wicked.
Yeah, Wicked, especially Wicked. Like, Wicked got a good following, but Hamilton is like in another league of its own. The only way I can describe it, and I was actually listening to another podcast right after Hamilton came out on Disney Plus. I was listening to the Talkcast Pod Show that was done by Team 4-Star, and they were talking about it. And one of the guys on there, Nick Landis, shout out to you, Lanny. He said that the only way to describe the following of Hamilton is to compare it to the following of another musical such as Phantom of the Opera. It's reached Phantom levels, I would say, just within the span of 5 years.
Yep. It really is incredible. It's worth the hype as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just like, so good. So good.
It's a musical that is great on its own when you see it, but the repeat hearing on soundtrack, like just listening to it, like whether you bought the soundtrack for yourself or you're streaming it on like Spotify or anything like that, they stand all on their own as great pieces of music. There's like more than 5 or 6 songs on there that like are great songs in their own right that don't need to be centered into the show, but they're great. But they're just great.
Oh yeah.
I can't think of the last time I listened to a musical where it had that kind of effect on me, where I could just like choose a random song and just listen to it and not have to listen to the entire musical.
Yeah. Just each track is what is it? It's not significant. Each track is on its own. Each track
stands on its own.
Yeah, there's a word for it, but I can't think of it.
I can't think of the word either.
Each track is notable on its own.
Notable. There we go.
I don't think
that's a good way to describe it.
Yep. I love raps as well. Like when they're well done, they just I vibe with it. Which you wouldn't know from looking at me, but I love rap.
Well done rap is really, really good, and it also it also really helps. Like the guy who basically wrote all the things is a singer, playwright, and composer, and everything like that. And he has done rap. Lin-Manuel Miranda, who plays Alexander Hamilton in the original cast recording, and his voice is like set apart from like all the other members of the cast. It's very weird to describe. It's almost he almost stands apart in his own weird way, just because of like he has a different diction compared to everyone else. Although I think that
was intentional.
Yeah, it probably was intentional.
Because Hamilton like had new ideas and stuff, and so when they were doing raps, a friend of mine, like Sarah Zapian, she is obsessed with this musical now that she's seen it.
Oh, I don't doubt that for a minute.
Yeah, but she basically, what she said was, in the little rap battles that they do, like when Thomas Jefferson comes on and has all these ideas, and he raps about them, and then Hamilton raps about his ideas, it's a completely different kind of rap. It's like, there's the, like newer rap than what Thomas Jefferson was doing. Like it's based off of newer artists or newer influencers in rap culture.
Right.
So yeah, it was intentional for Hamilton to have a different sort of style.
I'm not throwing away my shot.
I'm
not throwing away my. Like, how is it possible that like the first 3 songs you get 2 bangers?
Yep. Oh man.
Still blows my mind.
I like that too. Oh, just the whole through line of like throwing away your shot is really cool.
Yeah.
Which I noticed at the very beginning because I know how the musical ends because I hear people talking about it, but like, I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Right. I know how it happened because I originally listened to the soundtrack before I ever saw like the actual show in person, but I never I never took the time to like try to look at like the staging of like how they did everything, and to me the staging was like the most interesting because it was a mostly barren set that they always just like rolled the pieces onward, which I'm all about that.
Yeah,
I'm all about that. I always love like musicals that go for that less is more type vibe where they don't really have like a set background or anything like that, and they just transform it like that.
Yeah.
Whereas like opposed to a show like Phantom of the Opera where like they have so many different like set pieces built for like background and everything like that change on a whim, but having a mostly like blank background with like all of the actors are on stage at like all times playing multiple roles, which are done to great effect.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
It's a great effect.
I think my favorite part of the set was the part that was there all the time, which was the turntables.
I didn't even notice that there was a turntable on there until about like the last song prior to the intermission on the master cut, because I was wondering about that myself throughout the entire time, and
You're
then
how are they moving so smoothly along?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, where they have like one is going one way and then the one on the outside is going another way, and like if two people are standing on the same turntable facing each other, like in the duels, it would go around and they're like pointing their guns at each other and it's going around, and you can see both of them at certain points. It was like theater in the round, but instead of us being in the round, watching something that was stationary, the stage itself was in the round, moving like we were a camera like zooming around it, you know?
Yeah, I know. And honestly, like, shout out to the cinematography team that shot it, because like I was so sucked. Like, they did a masterful job of like choosing which shots to like highlight on, and it didn't interfere with like anything at all.
Yeah. Most
of the times when you see some shows where they shoot it for like a wider audience, like sometimes you can see like there's like some constrictions with like camera or anything like anything with. I lost my train of thought there.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got it.
You mean when they just have a stationary camera filming an entire set?
Well, that as well, but also with like bigger productions, like whenever like the Royal Shakespeare Company does like a recording of like one of their big shows in order to stream it to big screen theaters, like how they've like, which has become like the fad in like the past decade or so.
I want to see Ian McKellen's King Lear.
Oh my god, yes.
Oh man.
Like sometimes it's done really well, but other times you can kind of tell like the camera is like restricting the actors a little bit. I can't even tell that with this, because the cinematography is done so well, and they chose they chose such well-placed shots, and they chose it all really well. And the thing is, like, unless you look at like some of the finer details with like hairstyles and costumes or anything like that, you can't even tell that basically this master cut is made of like multiple different shows.
Yep. Oh man.
I didn't even realize that until like my.
No, I thought it was all one show too.
I thought it was too, but
until you just said it just now.
I thought it was too, but I was also listening to the other podcast I was mentioning, and they mentioned that too, and I'm like, there's no way that's possible. And then I looked in on that, and there's like, it's just slight parts, but it's like, well, damn,
man, good art, just, ooh, it gives me life.
Yeah, same. Like,
oh man. Okay.
Oh,
I forget the name of the oldest sister. What was her name?
I have the cast list right here.
All right. Is like Alexandra or something?
Angelica.
Oh gosh, she I think was one of my favorite characters.
Played in the Master Cut by Renee Elise Goldberry, who was part of the original Broadway run.
Yep.
She's probably like one of the five show stealers in that show.
Oh my gosh, yes.
There's so many people that steal the spotlight in that show.
Oh, and she was so good. She has pipes. She can rap really well. Like, or at least just there was the one scene where it was like about what would have happened if I hadn't let Eliza have Hamilton, and she's just going off rapid pace. I'm like, oh my gosh,
and then she's pulling out that operatic like voice. I'm like, girl,
oh gosh, yeah,
yes,
yep,
so great.
Oh yeah, she was amazing. She's my hero. I wish I had her skills.
like both her and Eliza are like
Oh, yeah.
so good, especially in like the second act when Eliza gets like those really like strong and powerful moments when she burns Alexander's letters that she wrote to her. I'm like, yes.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, I love this shit. I love it.
Yep. Also, yeah, another thing that my friend Sarah was gushing about was whoever it was who played Burr.
Oh my god, yes. Leslie Odom Jr.
Yeah, what's the name of the character? Aaron Burr? Aaron Burr.
Yep, Aaron Burr. Sir.
Aaron Burr, sir. And so she said, yeah, the role of Aaron Burr is an Olympic event.
It is.
And he's like rapping, and then he's dancing, and then he's rapping and dancing at the same time, and running around, and like, ugh, oh my gosh.
I think like low key one of my favorite songs that like Burr sings like solo, like outside of like the room where it happens, because that's obviously like amazing.
Yeah.
Underratedly, I kind of like the song when he's talking about he's that I'm willing to wait for it. I'm willing, like when he was talking about the wife of the British soldier that he's
oh right, Theodosia.
Theodosia writes me a letter every day. That's another song that's like stuck in my head.
Apparently, in the scene where the character Aaron Burr sings a song to his daughter, I think while they were doing this production, the actor, what's his name?
Leslie Odom Jr.
Yeah, so his wife was actually expecting their first child, a daughter. And so every single night when he went out and sat on the chair and like bowed his head, he would pray for his daughter who was going to show up eventually.
Ah, damn!
Oh, like that's so sweet. My gosh.
That's incredible. I never knew that.
Many blessings on that girl.
My God.
She'd be like 5 years old now, maybe?
5, 4.5, something like that. And then, oh man. Okay, so there's two other ones. One, Thomas Jefferson.
Yes.
David Diggs. He probably gets like the best entrance song, like when Act 2 opens up.
He's like
Thomas Jefferson.
Oh man, he's like a Mad Hatter. Like his costume and just the way he acts and his hair, God. Mad Hatter.
I was thinking in my head like they like total Mad Hatter is. I'm like they dressed him up almost like Prince. Mm-hmm.
That too, yeah.
I'm like they made this man look like a superstar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and apparently that actor, he can rap really, really fast. He can like drop words like nobody's business.
Oh yeah.
They wrote like they specifically put a really fast rap into his character when Lynn found out that he could rap so fast. He actually added in something so that they could showcase that. I think it's near the beginning. It's one of the ones he does as Lafayette.
Oh, probably, yeah.
I think it was like he said 17 words in 3 seconds or something like that.
Yeah, like I remember that. I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
The actor who plays Lafayette in Jefferson, I have the cast list right in front of me. David Diggs. Mm-hmm. Like, good God, he's probably like one of the standout. I would say he would be the standout star in this show. He's
another standout, yeah.
If this cast wasn't already star-studded, like so many standout performances. That's the crazy thing about this. Every single person who has a prominent role in this show is given a good amount of spotlight, and it's not overshadowed. Mm-hmm. Yep. Like even the bit players with King Louis. Oh my God. Okay.
The King. Isn't it King George?
It probably is King George.
King George
I don't know why I said King Louis, but my King God, George Jonathan Groff.
The whitest whitey that ever whited. This is just not bad. It'll kill your friends and family to remind you of my love. Da 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 da. I just lost it every time he showed up because there was like I think it was like his second song. He came out and he's just looking all paranoid and crazy.
Yep.
and his eyes darting everywhere, and I like leaned over to my friend and I was like, it looks like someone just slipped him a bunch of crack. Or just like or like his confusion when Washington decides not to be president anymore, and he's like, I didn't realize that was something a person could do.
And he just says this with just this pompous air about them. Like, he only appears like 2 or 3 times throughout the entire show, and of course he's the character that like opens up the show before like the opening number Alexander Hamilton hits.
Please enjoy my show.
My show. I'm like, oh my god, this is gonna be so good.
Oh god.
It's one of those dream bit roles. Like,
yes.
He doesn't contribute much to like the overarching story, but the moments he appears in are like standouts.
Yeah, and what a job. You don't have any costume changes. You just show up and sing basically the same tune 3 times. Like, you reprise yourself. And then the rest of the time you just get to sit backstage and eat chips or whatever.
And we can't get enough of them.
No, yeah. It was really weird because the only other thing that I've seen him in is Mindhunter, which is really serious. I was looking at it, I was like, wait a minute. Is that Holden Ford?
Yeah, that could be kind of a jarring thing, because as far as I can tell, Groff has done like more serious roles than he did comedic. So it's like, obviously, like King George like says everything like he believes and everything like that, but obviously like you have to showcase like this pompous air about him, which like is of course part of the story and like how the part's written, but
why they all left England to begin with.
Yep, you'll make me mad. He speaks the words in a way that is hilariously pompous, but still with a degree of like gravitas and respect. I'm like, oh my god, like, good god, can I get this man's voice?
Oh man, if I could have all the voices that I covet for myself. Oh man.
And then sometimes you develop it like me in order to try to make someone sound like Kermit the Frog.
Oh gosh, my mom does the best Kermit the Frog.
Teach me her ways.
Yeah. And my little sister actually does a pretty good Elvis.
Thank you very much.
We're a very strange family.
Oh no, it's okay. It's okay. I dig that stuff. Are you kidding me? What was another good one? Oh, George Washington.
Oh yeah.
My god, like.
Oh man, yeah. He was in The Lion King when he was on Broadway.
Yeah, he was.
Oh man.
I think it was Mufasa at the time.
I feel like he was Mufasa, but he might not have been. He might have been.
Let me check.
Maybe it's just because he was. Maybe just because I assume that just because of the role that he was playing in Hamilton, where I was like, oh, he's obviously gonna play a father figure and everything, you know. Because in Moana, he does the voice of Moana's father, the chief.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yep. And no one leaves.
Yep, right here. Christopher Jackson, his Broadway debut was in 1997 with The Lion King.
Oh, who was he?
That's what I'm trying to figure out at the moment.
He could have pulled off Simba if it was 20 years ago.
Yep, it was Simba.
Aw.
It was Simba. Oh, sorry. Wrong musical. Back to Hamilton. Yeah, okay.
We can cut that out.
No, that's staying in. That's staying in. Are you kidding me?
You know what really cracks me up? I listen to a lot of podcasts, and a lot of it, like, they have conversations, and then they're like, oh gosh, we gotta cut that out. And then they just don't.
No, of course not. It's like here's the thing. If we cut out all the moments like we are goofing off and everything like that, like the podcast gets devoid of personality. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Plus I enjoy the weird moments that we have. Yeah. So
if we can't be ourselves on the General Geekery podcast, where can we?
We are geeking out. This is what we do. It's part of the experience.
Part of the experience.
All right.
It must be nice. It must be nice.
All right. So obviously, this show has too many repeatable songs to count. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, there's no like sleeper song. Like there, like even like the weakest song in the show, it's considered like one of the best songs for like your average musical.
Oh wow, yeah.
I would say so, because like all musicals and all plays have like a second act moment where it's just like a respite, where it just calms down everything, because I don't really sense that with this show. Like, maybe there's a part of it in Act 2, but I was just so swept up by like everything that was shown in front of me, and everyone is just performing at such a good high level. Like they're not dropping anything.
Yeah.
They're not throwing away their shot. Oh my god. This is going to be an entire thing this episode. I'm sorry, guys.
Well, you did choose the topic.
That's true. I needed to get it out of my system. But
I really enjoyed the music. I mostly couldn't understand any of what they were talking about with all the political stuff. But it didn't really bother me.
Right.
Because I was like, these people are smart. I trust that what they're saying makes sense.
Well, okay. The crazy thing is, if I remember correctly, how this musical was made, I think, the guy who created it, Lin-Manuel Miranda, he was either at, like, some office, or he was at an airport and everything like that, and he picked up a book about, like, the history of Alexander Hamilton, and he just decided to make the show based on that. I'm like,
wow.
I'm like, the most random of things. And you make probably one of the best musicals ever to hit Broadway.
Yep. Most awesome things start like that, with somebody in an airport.
Yeah.
Who just has a brain blast.
Yeah, I know. Like, what in the world?
I think I finished the first draft of my first book sitting in an airport waiting to board my plane. Like, it's a book I have not published yet, so don't go looking for it.
Fair enough. I think I wrote like one of my earliest like script things for voice acting stuff. Like, I think this was back in like 2014 or something like that, when I took a trip to New York. It was like my first time on a plane, and I'm like, damn, all right. Well, actually, that wasn't my first time on a plane. Yep. I'm getting my... Never mind. It's
something about being in a place that you're not usually at, or like a place of transition.
Yeah.
Like an airport where you're kind of like, I'm not really anywhere.
Yeah.
And I don't really have anything to do until it's time for me to leave.
You would think that you would get more inspired ideas in like a place of familiarity or something like that. But when you...
Familiar is dull. I rarely ever write anything really good sitting at my desk in my apartment.
Fair enough. Yeah. And it's been hard to do that with COVID. I always enjoy going out to a coffee shop in order to get a spark of inspiration.
Oh yeah, me too.
And I can't do that.
Coffee shop is where I did all the research and planning for your steampunk devil over there.
My precious.
Yeah. I have some of the other art that I've done that we've put up as like on the Instagram and stuff. I'm like, I should bring them and put them in frames in the studio or something.
Yeah, I'm definitely planning on that. I've been meaning to do that. I have everything like kept in a box, in the dark, sacred, safe. Just keep it secret. Keep it secret. Because I know I have some of the. I still have some of the art that you did for when we actually first met face to face, when you did some of the art stuff for Mackers for Voices Found. Right.
Yes. It was like a. Oh, that's a funny story, because that one, I did it for Macbeth for our fundraiser, and it was sort of like a, how would you describe it?
It was basically a
It was like an apocalyptic,
it was
sort of stormtrooper person with like a helmet and a flak suit and like a bandolier and stuff.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about that is I called it Dogs of War.
Yeah.
Which I thought was from Macbeth at the time, but I later realized it was from Julius Caesar. So that's fun.
No, it's okay, because honestly, like, Dogs of War can also describe Mackers pretty well.
Yep.
And funny story, guys. That was actually the first time me and Hannah had met, and I commissioned her.
You gave me $100 for something. That was a great meeting.
Yeah, indeed.
Actually, no, you didn't give it to me. It was a fundraiser for the
Well,
theater company.
I bid $100 on it in order to get it, and then I asked you for the commissioned painting, and then a couple months later, and $250 plus tip later for the steampunk devil painting.
Oh,
easily like one of my favorite pieces that I have. Like I keep it out of the light to keep it safe.
Aw, lovely. Well, if I ever have a gallery, I'll borrow it from you.
Oh, absolutely. Just don't sell it, please.
Yep. No, why would I do that?
Thank God. All right.
No, just to show people and make them jealous.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I remember when I gave it to you. It was right out there on the sidewalk.
Indeed. Right outside the studio.
As I showed it to you, and you fell to your knees.
Yes, I did. It's
like, bow before the devil! Oh, if my mom could hear me now.
Oh, that's good.
It's all in good fun, Mom.
I know.
Don't bow to the devil.
Don't worry. That's a story for another time. That's a story for another time. But, my God. Yeah, it was basically that had us start this podcast where we could geek out about all we love to geek out about.
Ooh.
And my God, like, Hamilton is worth geeking out about.
Oh my gosh, yes.
The amount of press that it's gotten, the amount of awards it got, like, you think of some musicals that have reached, like, hype levels, but haven't really reached the ones of being Broadway classics going into mainstream.
Yeah.
Like, you have shows like Wicked, shows like Matilda, shows like Kinky Boots. All those shows, great shows!
Yeah.
Great shows. And well worth their hype, but they didn't reach the level of, like, big popularity into the mainstream, like shows such as Phantom of the Opera, Lion King, or even Hamilton has reached. Like honestly, like that's kind of like a holy trinity right there when it comes to like Broadway musicals. Yeah. Lion King, Phantom of the Opera, Hamilton. And honestly, that's a very diverse set of musicals.
Yeah. And yeah. I love seeing people of color represented as well. It's great.
And how they were able to get, like, the perfect Broadway cast at the perfect time.
Yeah.
Because so many of those high-name, like, actors weren't really doing anything at the moment because I don't think any other show on Broadway was utilizing a lot of people of color roles at the time.
Yeah, and,
Jesus.
So good.
Now, if I had taken my trip to New York in 2015 instead of 2014. Well, actually, I did take it in 2015, but I think it was before Hamilton came to Broadway.
Yeah.
Which I'm upset about. Because we had so many different shows to go to, and it wasn't there. Because if it was there, we would have gone to it. Instead, we saw Waiting for Godot, and we also saw Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen doing Waiting for Godot. Yep.
Well, you saw it, and then you saw it again.
No, I meant to say Kinky Boots the first time. Sorry.
Oh, right.
So yeah, sorry.
Oh man, yeah.
And thank God for that because I actually got to meet Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen in person.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I still treasure that story to this day,
dude. Oh man. So awesome.
But yeah. Okay, I gotta ask. Hands down, what is one song? It doesn't have to be your favorite, but one song that you always find yourself going back to with this soundtrack. With Hamilton. Okay,
well, funny thing about that is that I actually haven't listened to it since I watched it. I don't know why. But
sometimes you gotta let the mind simmer.
Yep. The ones that are memorable. It's not really a song, actually, that's memorable to me. It's like it's a moment.
Sure, let's go with that.
The whole thing where he's trying to... It's near the beginning. He wants to go and be in the battle. Like, on the battlefield. But Washington keeps saying, no, I need you here. Because you're smart. I need you here. And there's this whole thing where Hamilton protests and says, no, I want to do this. And then Washington's like, son, let me tell you something. He's like, don't call me son. And then he keeps on going. And he's like, there's all this stuff that you don't know about and stuff. And you see, son. And then there's this thing where Hamilton just, like, goes right up to him and is like, call me son one more time. And, like, that hurt me so much.
Yeah.
Because, like, you know...
Dying is easy, son. Living is harder.
Yep. Call me son one more time. Yep.
So good. Damn.
Man, and I was like, whoa. Daddy issues.
Well, I mean, his father left him.
Yeah.
When he was 10, his father split full of it. Oh, Don, stop it!
Oh yeah, it hurts.
I could basically sing the entire opening number by myself. I know it's supposed to be like a multi-person piece, but I know the lyrics almost to heart.
Yeah. Oh man. But yeah, I love that. And then it's Quiet Uptown or something.
Oh, like after his son died, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
got me.
Okay, yeah, that was like a lull moment, but that was like a needed lull moment because of like everything that happened. I'm like,
yeah, that broke me. That's the worst thing.
I was watching the show with my mother, and she actually really started crying around that time. She's like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, this.
Yep.
This is what magic is in theater. Damn it.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, live theater has an impact on you that just watching a movie doesn't quite do.
It really helps having like even though this is like a recorded experience and it's being showed, like the audience like reacting to all the little bits, like audience reactions, like real live audience reactions are so key to like theater performances, and we've mentioned that constantly on the podcast when it comes to like theater shows.
Oh man, yes.
Because it means a lot for audience people to stay engaged and everything like that to the material being shown, and it's a lot for like the actors on stage because we as actors we feed off that energy.
Yep.
We feed off of the emotions that are needed for each scene. We feed off of laughter when we're doing hijinks. We feed off of like the emotions, like the sadness of the people, like when they're being sucked into it. That is magic. That is true magic.
Whew. Magical.
You just gotta be in there. In the room where it happens. We had the same idea! Yes!
You just gotta be there. I also think did we harmonize, or did I just sing a little higher than you?
I think we did harmonize that moment. Like you sung a little bit higher. I went with a lower pitch, but it worked perfectly. At least in my ears.
Yep. Oh man. Yes, you can. If you check out the SoundCloud of the Twilight, you can hear my voice.
Oh yeah. Shout out to the Twilight.
Aimless plug.
Well, also shout out to the Twilight because he has provided the track Anime Sunset for our intro and outro for the podcast.
Yep. Another shameless plug.
All the shameless plugs. Oh my God. I thought you were gonna go doo-doo-doo again.
Doo-doo-doo.
There we go. Oh man, we were going crazy with that the other in the chat room the other night when you were doing Loaded Dice Adventures.
Oh,
my God.
Oh yeah, that was hilarious when the bot gained sentience and began to have a personal vendetta against you.
Oh my God. Okay, we're gonna have to do an extra geekery thing just to explain like that entire thing because I feel like that needs to be a thing.
That would be great. Extra geekery.
Oh, we haven't done one of those in so long.
Yeah.
But
are we good?
I think so. I think we pretty much covered everything we need to about this show. Like, obviously, we really can't say much about this show that hasn't been said already by so many other people. But just we can express our love and fascination with this show. On its own standpoint, if you just listen to it as a soundtrack, it's great already. But I implore everyone to see this show live if you can, once everything starts opening back up again, hopefully soon. Because the theater industry needs it.
Theater is suffering.
We
can only do online play readings for so long.
Although they are fun at times.
They are fun.
Still, we miss the interaction with the audience.
Watch it when it's on Disney Plus. Don't throw away your shot.
Don't throw away your shot. No, you can't throw away your shot. You gotta see Hamilton on Disney Plus now. You gotta don't throw away your shot.
Alexander Hamilton.
Alexander Hamilton. Alexander Hamilton.
There's a sort of, it's a spoof of that song where it's like somebody who's never seen Hamilton singing the Hamilton song, and it's like, it's got all sorts of weird things like,
oh my god.
Going to the liquor store, Alexander, hand me gin.
There are so many that's another thing we failed to mention. There are so many like covers and like different versions of like the song that has been inspired by this musical. Yeah. One of the things I talked about, like Team 4-Star with like the podcast that they do their own like abridged works. They did an abridged series for Hellsing Ultimate, and one of the characters in the show, Alexander Anderson, who's basically like a he's an Irish Catholic priest who's basically a vampire hunter. And in the episode,
that is awesome.
In the episode where he died, they basically took the Alexander Hamilton song at the beginning of the show. They altered it into like a church choir like setting, and made it all about Alexander Anderson. And I'm like, yes.
Going vegetarian, Alexander hella thin.
Parodies of the song are so good, but it's just like, oh my god. But yeah, guys, like, that's pretty much all we can really say about like Hamilton. The impact that this show has had is insane. It's basically this generation's Phantom of the Opera.
Pretty much, yeah.
Like in terms of like, high, like basically so high publicity like musical has basically broken through the mainstream, and like is getting more eyes on like theater performance and like. Like musical theater performance still, but like theater performance nonetheless, because like any kind of contribution to theater, like I'm all about it. I'm definitely all about it, and like being able to experience like the master cut on Disney Plus is incredible, especially since it's the original Broadway cast.
Yeah,
which is a huge plus because there are so many strong players involved in it.
Yep. So
I recommend you guys to even if you've only listened to the soundtrack before. Definitely go watch the master cut on streaming on Disney Plus right now.
Yep.
It's heavily worth it.
Yep.
Very much worth it.
Very much.
And if you got the chance to go see Hamilton, if it's touring again when COVID's over, hopefully.
Yep.
Definitely take the opportunity to go see it. Don't throw away your shot to go see it.
Yep.
All right, I gotta stop now. But, yeah, I think we can pretty much end it on that.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much again for listening to the General Geekery Podcast, all about us gushing over Alexander Hamilton. Oh, this is going to be a good one.
Oh, man.
I can already tell. People are probably either going to be, like, singing along with us, or they're probably just going to be irritated by me, but it's going to be all right. But yeah, this has been the General Geekery Podcast. As always, guys, if you like what you have listened to here, you can check us out wherever podcasts can be listened to. We're on Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker Radio, and we're also on YouTube at Anime Rev Productions, which is my personal YouTube channel. You guys can go check it out there if you don't have any access to the other streaming services I mentioned. On social media, you guys can check us out and on Instagram at General Geekery and at Gen Geek Podcast on Facebook and Twitter.
Yep, the Twitter is deplorably neglected, but you can check it out anyway.
It's true. It's on the Instagram where we have more of our fun little posts. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
But still, we're on Twitter as well if you guys want to follow us there.
Yep.
Hannah, where can they check you out at?
Well, you can find me rolling dice with my party every Monday at 7:30 Central on twitch.tv/loadeddiceadventures. And you can check me out on the Splanknicks podcast, which I do with my mom, where we talk about literature, art, and tabletop gaming, all from the perspective of two different generations. And you can also follow me on Instagram at Pythian Legume.
Indeed. And for me, guys, you can check me out on social media at Twitter and Instagram at RyuzakiMK7. And you can also check me out on Twitch at RyuzakiMK7 as well. It's going to be a fun... I do a lot of RPG games on there as well, but I always mix it up every now and again. It's going to be... It's always a fun time. I always enjoy interacting with my chat room all the time.
Chat rooms are fun.
They are. my chat rooms always always poke fun at me and always try to like they always just like do like pinch stab poke like why you guys stab me.
Oh man.
But yeah. Well, guys, thank you so much again. This has been episode 39 of the General Geekery Podcast, talking all about Hamilton. For Hannah Kubiak, I'm Donald Gazinski. And until next time, guys, always remember to keep your geek on. Don't throw away your shot. No, you can't throw away your shot. Just like a country, because we're young, scrappy, and hungry. And don't throw away your shot! Damn.
Nice.
Click. Keep your geek on, guys.
Always.
Later.
Later.
Thought I got that out of my system.
Yep.